All right, folks, so you may have noticed this morning or very recently that your Forerunner 945 LTE, 945, 745, or 245 or 245 Music just got updated with some fresh new firmware. And most of the time, these firmware updates are just general improvements or some bug fixes, but this latest batch of firmware updates actually have some more significant updates to them that may not be super obvious on the surface, like even some new activity profiles. So this video is just to go over all those new features just so you can get the most out of your Forerunner. So we're going to go ahead and first start out with the Forerunner 245/245 Music. So the latest firmware update to the Forerunner 245/245 Music includes improvements to the resting heart rate algorithm, better descriptions for some of the daily suggested workouts, the ability to enable or disable audio prompts during workouts, as well as the ability to log perceived effort for cycling, running, and swimming workouts. Oh, and then this was actually released in a previous firmware update, but just in case you didn't know about it, the 245 can now also calculate your VO2 max for trail running in addition to road running. And this should be turned on by default in the trail run activity profile settings, but you can always turn this off if you like, if you just want to record your VO2 max for road running. Okay, so now onto the 745 as well as the 945, and I'm actually combining these two just because the new activity profiles as well as the new features, they're pretty much identical between these two. So just like the 245, you're going to have improvements to the descriptions for the daily suggested workouts, as well as the ability to enable or disable audio prompts during workouts. But with these two, these get quite a few new activity profiles. So these two now get a bunch of new cycling profiles, including cyclocross, gravel bike, bike commute, bike tour, road bike, as well as e-mountain bike. Now with these new activity profiles, these are basically just new activity classifications, so you can classify them with a lot more detail, so it's going to be easier to sort and filter through these in Garmin Connect. But there was one unique feature I noticed with the bike tour profile where it prompts you to see if you'd like to navigate to a location or not when you go to start the activity. And then when you click yes, you can choose between loaded courses, previous activities, save locations, specific coordinates, or you can just save your current location. And then in addition to the new cycling profiles, the 745 and the 945 also get the new high intensity interval training profile that originally came out with the Venue 2, which have different types of high intensity interval timers like Tabata, every minute and a minute, and so forth. And there's also a new snowshoeing activity profile. And I've actually had a few people ask about tennis before, but now there's a new tennis activity profile that's both for indoor as well as outdoor tennis, where if you record your activity outdoors, it'll actually give you GPS information. Now, one thing to keep in mind here is that consumer grade GPS is generally only accurate down to about 3 meters. So it's not going to be like crazy precise showing exactly where you were on the court, but still kind of cool to see this new profile that accommodates for both outdoor and indoor tennis. With these new activity profiles, these may not be super obvious that you actually have these now, because to find them, you'll actually have to choose the add button at the bottom of the list of your current activity profiles, and here's where you can choose these new profiles. And then finally, with the 945 LTE, the latest firmware update adds the new health snapshot feature that we saw originally come out with the Venue 2. It also has improvements to the strength training activity profile, including the ability to turn off the automatic rep counting if you don't want to use that feature. It also comes with the high intensity interval training profile as well as the backcountry skiing profile. Now the 945 LTE, it does have the e-bike as well as the e-mountain bike cycling activity profiles, but this firmware release didn't include the new cycling profiles that we just saw come out with the 745 and the 945, like the cyclocross, gravel bike, as well as the bike touring cycling activity profiles, but don't worry, those are slated to come to the 945 LTE early next year. And then the 945 LTE also gets some other general improvements like heart rate variability support with a chest heart rate strap for the yoga breath work, as well as the health snapshot activity profiles, improved live track, as well as LTE connectivity, and a few other miscellaneous items. Anyhow, this was just a quick little video I wanted to do to outline some of the new features that are now available on the current Forerunner lineup. And if you did find the information in this video to be useful, do me a favor and just hit that like button down below, and also subscribe to the channel for plenty more sports tech videos that are coming soon. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.